Simply abandon him in that place. The snow intensifies swirling with an ominous grace. A driver's voice pierced through the static of the radio, a desperate call echoing in the air, yet Jack stood, resolute, his silence unwavering. He emerged from his truck, battling through the swirling snow, and drew the stranger into the warmth of his cabin, shielding them both from the merciless wind. As dawn broke, the entire neighborhood was left in a state of disbelief, their eyes wide with astonishment at the sight of Navy jeeps arrayed before his home, and a figure in uniform emerging with an air of authority. Type it is a travesty to witness goodness ridiculed only for the truth to rise and reveal itself. Welcome to Great Man, where possibilities unfold and dreams take flight. Let us unveil the truth of what transpired. Jack Monroe, at the age of 61, navigated the open roads of suburban Pennsylvania, embracing the unadorned existence of a long-haul truck driver. The weathered lines etched upon his face whispered tales of countless journeys across America's sprawling highways, while the subtle limp in his right leg served as a poignant reminder of his days of valor and sacrifice. Once a dedicated logistics specialist in the Marines, Jack found himself stepping away from his military career, a decision prompted by a seemingly minor accident on a supply route in the year 2004. The injury, though not grave, was a pivotal moment, compelling him to abandon the life of a soldier and embrace the world of civilian existence, exchanging military convoys for the rigors of commercial hauling. Each day unfolded with an unchanging cadence. Embark on a journey, return to the familiar embrace of home, mend the cherished relics of the past, and savor the warmth of early morning coffee at the roadside haven. To his neighbors, he was the silent sentinel of the street, a veteran cloaked in tranquility, ever prepared with tools to share. Yet how few dared to delve into the depths of his true self. December unleashed an unforeseen blizzard, sweeping dramatically across the northern expanse of the state. Weather reports heralded a deluge of record snowfall, yet the relentless march of freight deadlines remained unyielding, indifferent to the tempest's fury. Jack had vowed to deliver to Maple Creek by the break of dawn, and such vows held great weight in his heart. As darkness enveloped the world, the snow began to dance more fervently from the heavens above. Flakes as large as quarters pounded relentlessly against his windshield, compelling Jack to reduce his speed to a mere crawl. As the clock struck midnight, the state troopers sealed off the roads that lay ahead, casting an air of finality over the night. Amidst a procession of trucks, Jack found himself marooned, the engine humming softly to preserve the warmth within the cabin. The CB radio crackled to life, a chorus of voices from fellow drivers weaving tales of the road, each update a thread in the tapestry of their journey. An old man lingers by the roadside, a figure of solitude, seemingly stranded as a voice, crackles through the static, breaking the silence of the moment.
"Keep your distance from it," another driver hissed with intensity. "Who has the luxury to save a misguided soul adrift in a tempest?" Jack gazed intently through the glass of his windshield. In the midst of the swirling snow, a solitary figure loomed, hunched and shivering, clad in nothing but a flimsy jacket scarcely stirring in the biting cold.
The frigid air outside had plunged to a bone-chilling 15 degrees below zero. Survival in such conditions is but a fleeting dream. He moved without a moment's pause. In defiance of the ominous warnings crackling through the radio, Jack donned his wool cap, fastened his heavy coat to his chin, and ventured into the biting wind that lashed against his face with fierce intensity. Every step taken through the knee-deep snow was akin to battling through a relentless sea of concrete. Though his injured leg cried out in defiance, Jack pressed on, his gaze locked onto the still figure that awaited him in the distance. "My good sir, are you in a state of well-being?" Jack's voice pierced through the tempest, a desperate cry nearly engulfed by the ferocious wind. The man gazed upward, his visage ashen and his lips tinged with a haunting shade of blue. Silence enveloped the moment, broken only by a feeble nod that spoke volumes. "Join me at this very moment." Jack seized the stranger's arm, lending his strength as they staggered toward the inviting warmth of the truck's cabin, its glow beckoning like a distant beacon in the night. Upon entering, Jack enveloped the man in his emergency blanket, poured steaming coffee from his thermos, and meticulously sealed every window to fend off the biting chill. "Take a moment to rest," Jack murmured gently. "As dawn breaks, I shall uncover a path to guide you to your destined place." The man nodded with deep gratitude, his eyes weighed down by fatigue, as the warmth slowly rekindled the feeling in his numbed limbs. Outside, the air was thick with radio chatter, a cacophony of voices swirling around. Some drivers voiced their doubts about Jack's choice to lend a hand, while others succumbed to a heavy silence, their thoughts lingering in the tension of the moment. Yet beneath the gentle illumination of the dashboard lights, all of that faded into insignificance. What truly mattered was that no soul would succumb to the icy grip of death this night. Should you hold the conviction that a truly good soul requires no approval to act justly, then remain by our side. As the hours stretched on in that endless night, Jack maintained the cabin heater at a fierce blaze while he himself nestled uncomfortably within the confines of the driver's seat. The stranger lay in a profound slumber, stirring now and then with a cough that reverberated through his very being. With unwavering resolve, Jack extended a glass of water, his silence a testament to unspoken understanding. Years spent in the military had imparted a profound lesson. At times, the most profound act of kindness one could extend to a soul in turmoil was the gift of silence. Outside, the blizzard unleashed its fury, enveloping the highway in ever-growing drifts that piled higher with each passing hour. The intermittent flash of headlights from the passing snowplows painted haunting silhouettes upon the cabin walls. As dawn broke, the snow had begun to wane, yet a delicate veil continued to shroud the morning light. The man stirred his posture, straightening with a newfound intensity. Vibrancy surged back into his complexion. He surveyed his surroundings, grounding himself in the moment before turning his gaze to Jack, his eyes sharp and filled with insight. "Jack, you," he uttered with a quiet intensity. His voice resonated with an innate command even through its raspy timbre. Jack inclined his head in acknowledgement. "How wonderful to hear that you are on the mend. Once the plough has carved a path through the snow, I shall endeavour to assist you in reaching your destination. Is there anyone I should reach out to on your behalf? What is family, companions?" The man studied Jack with a penetrating gaze, then delved into the depths of his inner coat pocket. His hands, though still stiff with the biting chill, danced with a practiced precision that spoke of mastery. He produced a weathered metal identification card, its surface marred by the passage of time, yet the lettering remained defiantly legible. A distinguished DM Nicholas T. Samuel, serving in the esteemed U.S. Navy. Jack gazed at the card, his mind momentarily reeling in disbelief. 2 decades of unwavering military service had forged within him a set of instinctual reflexes honed to perfection. Though he did not rise to full attention, an instinctive grace infused his posture, subtly transforming it. "Thou art an admiral, you say?" Sir Admiral Samuel offered a subtle nod, his demeanour unruffled as though being saved by a truck driver amidst a raging blizzard was merely a commonplace affair. As I journeyed to honour the memory of a cherished comrade, he recounted, his voice swelling with conviction. "In a most unexpected turn of events, my driver fell gravely ill in the last town we visited. I believed I could conquer the final 20 miles alone, yet the tempest arrived with a swiftness that took me by surprise. The GPS has faltered." In that moment, the rental car veered off into the shadows, lost to the world behind us. With a sweeping motion, he directed his hand toward the window, a hint of uncertainty in his demeanour. "You have traversed the path for nearly 2 hours before finally pausing." Jack took in this revelation, his silence heavy with unspoken thoughts. He had witnessed enough throughout his existence to understand that status seldom shielded anyone from the capricious harshness of life. The relentless march of weather, the inexorable passage of time, and the finality of death offered no reprieve for Admiral Starr's fate. "Every rank commands respect," Sir Jack murmured with a quiet intensity. Yet here I stood, a mere logistics corps member in the Marines, hardly the type one would expect to extend assistance to the esteemed Navy brass. The Admiral's weathered visage softened ever so slightly, and I found myself merely a frozen relic of an old man stranded on a desolate highway last night, Corporal. Munro, Jack Munro, a name etched in time, retired in the year 2004. Admiral Samuel inclined his head with a measured, deliberate gesture.
Corporal Munro? I have come to realize that at times the most vital chain of command transcends rank and title, existing instead in the profound connection between one human being and another. He cast a fleeting gaze through the window, where the sky was awakening its hues, shifting from darkness to a soft, radiant glow. Your discretion is truly valued as well.
Not everyone would discern that at times an admiral may choose to forego summoning the cavalry in light of a personal misstep. With a flourish, Jack filled another cup of steaming coffee from his thermos, extending it graciously towards the admiral. "Indeed, I comprehend, sir. No soul should ever meet a frigid end while journeying to pay tribute to a fallen hero." The admiral took the cup, his hands enveloping it, savouring the comforting warmth that radiated from it. He gazed intently at Jack's face for what felt like an eternity, then, with a decisive motion, placed a hand firmly on Jack's shoulder. "T. Jack you, and fear not." With vivid clarity I recall the name of the man who has just bestowed upon me the gift of life itself. There was an undeniable weight in the Admiral's tone, a certainty, a promise that lingered in the air, weaving an invisible thread between them. The radio burst into life, its crackling voice proclaiming that the plows had valiantly cleared the main route ahead. Truckers were granted passage in meticulously orchestrated groups. "I can take you to the police station in the next town," Jack declared, his voice steady and resolute. "They will undoubtedly orchestrate the perfect transportation for you." Admiral Samuel inclined his head in solemn acknowledgement. "That would indeed be fitting. My heartfelt gratitude to you." As Jack ignited the engine, coaxing the massive rig back onto the gradually unburdening highway, an enveloping silence hung between the two men, their words lost in the weight of the moment. Certain experiences forged a respect so profound that words became utterly unnecessary. The path before him sparkled with pristine snow, illuminated by the soft embrace of morning light, as Jack navigated with utmost caution, acutely aware of the significance of his esteemed passenger. In the rearview mirror, the night's frantic tableau had dissolved beneath immaculate white drifts as though it had never existed in the first place. Type, believe, if you have ever been a witness to the profound impact of kindness bestowed at the perfect moment upon the deserving soul. With urgency coursing through his veins, Jack navigated the reopened roads, transporting Admiral Samuel to the nearest police station without a moment's hesitation. The officers of the small town appeared utterly confounded by the sudden arrival of the Admiral, yet they swiftly orchestrated a secluded chamber for him to conduct his calls. The Admiral, resolute and unwavering, dismissed the notion of medical attention even as Jack's worries about the looming threat of hypothermia hung heavily in the air. "Navy men are impervious to the chill of illness," he declared, a faint smile dancing on his lips. With a dismissive gesture, he brushed aside Jack's concerns, declaring that he must reach out to his security detail, and just like that he vanished into the station's office alongside the chief. Jack made his exit without a moment's hesitation. He was tasked with the delivery, a mission now thwarted by the tempest that raged outside. With a respectful nod to the Admiral, he received a resolute handshake in return before continuing on his path. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Jack completed his arduous journey, having delivered his freight with precision, meticulously washed down his truck, and finally made his way back to his humble abode, nestled in the serene suburbs of Millbrook. Life reclaimed its well-worn cadence. The fateful meeting with the Admiral transformed into yet another tale, one he chose to keep locked away, never to be shared with another soul. In the heart of the Eastern Naval Command Center, Admiral Samuel reclined behind his imposing desk, his fingers elegantly steepled beneath his chin, a portrait of contemplation and authority. Before him sprawled a slender folder, a service record detailing the life of one Corporal Henry Jack Monroe, USMC, now retired. He refrained from speaking of his service, inquired Commander Marcus, his aide. Silence enveloped the room as the Admiral responded, his gaze fixed intently on the photograph meticulously clipped to the file. They rescued me from the tempest, demanding nothing in return. He never even whispered a word about his service. The aide inclined their head with a sense of admiration. Such a rare quality in this day and age, my good sir. Verily. Admiral Samuel pondered deeply as he tapped the folder, a storm of thoughts swirling within him. His house stands in dire need of restoration. The heating system appears to be a relic from the 1970s, a testament to its enduring presence through the decades. And did you behold that magnificent porch? My lord the Admiral raised his gaze, a fierce resolve illuminating his features. Commander, I implore you to gather a formidable team, masters of engineering, architects of construction, and virtuosos of electrical expertise, the finest we possess. Pray, may I inquire about the objective? Sir Admiral Samuel beamed with a captivating smile. A mission of great significance, one that has been awaited for far too long. 3 weeks slipped away into the shadows of time. January unveiled a canvas of clearer skies, yet the chill deepened, wrapping the world in its icy embrace. Jack dedicated his precious days off to the noble task of mending his porch railing, a weary sentinel worn down by the relentless assault of Pennsylvania winters over the years. The wood, once sturdy, had succumbed to decay in certain areas, yet he approached the task with unwavering precision, replacing each section with care, his brush gliding over the surface as he painted, transforming the old into something anew. On a Tuesday morning, with frost still clinging to the grass like a delicate veil, Jack was meticulously applying a fresh coat of white paint to the newly installed railings, when suddenly the serene stillness of the neighborhood was shattered by the thunderous roar of engines. One vehicle appeared, followed by another, and then a procession of 6 military jeeps rolled onto his street, each adorned with the proud insignia of the Navy. They advanced with unwavering precision, creating a striking formation along the curb in front of his house. Curious neighbors cast their watchful gazes from behind the curtains, eager to catch a glimpse of the unfolding scene. Mrs. Harper, perched across the street, made no effort to disguise her gaze. She emerged onto her front porch, cradling a steaming cup of coffee, her eyes fixed intently on the unfolding scene. A young officer, resplendent in his full dress uniform, emerged from the lead vehicle, strode purposefully toward Jack's gate, and declared, "Excuse me,
Is this the esteemed abode of Mr. Jack Monroe?" Jack laid his paintbrush to rest his hands, gliding over the worn fabric of his old work jeans. "Indeed, that is I." The officer stood tall, his posture impeccably straightened.
My lord, we have been summoned forth on the explicit command of Admiral Nicholas Samuel. He has implored us to lend our expertise in mending the heating system of your abode, as well as the roof and the very structure of your porch. Jack's eyes widened, caught in a fleeting moment of silence. His eyes swept over the row of vehicles where a cadre of uniformed Navy personnel stood resolutely at attention, embodying discipline and pride. That is, such an action is truly unwarranted. I merely acted as any person would in such a situation. The officer executed a sharp and precise salute, a gesture steeped in discipline and honor. Sir, with the utmost respect, Admiral Samuel articulated his position with remarkable clarity. His words resonated with profound sincerity. This man saved my life when he had no obligation to do so. The Navy fiercely protects its own, and those who lend a hand to one of our own are embraced as family. Before Jack could voice another objection, the team was already in the throes of unloading their equipment, a whirlwind of activity around him. They advanced with a precision that echoed the discipline of a well-drilled battalion, some scrutinizing the weary heating system while others meticulously evaluate the roof from their specialized apparatus. A senior officer strode forward clutching a folder with an air of authority. "Mr. Monroe, we have meticulously examined your service record as well. From the year of 1984 to the year of 2004, the saga of Marine Corps logistics unfolded. With great honor, a discharge is granted, a testament to the valor displayed in the face of adversity following an injury sustained while dutifully serving." Jack shifted with palpable unease. It was merely a transport accident. No acts of valor. 2 decades of unwavering dedication truly speaks volumes, sir. Admiral Samuel observed that you failed to mention your illustrious service background during your assistance to him. He was compelled to seek the answer on his own. For 3 long days, Jack's once tranquil abode transformed into a bustling hub of relentless activity. The Navy engineers, with their unparalleled expertise, transformed his struggling heating system into a magnificent state-of-the-art unit, breathing new life into the space. The roofing specialists, with unwavering expertise, meticulously reinforced and replaced the damaged sections, restoring strength and integrity to the structure. The electricians transformed his entire house, ensuring it now stands proudly in compliance with the highest modern safety codes. The neighbors gazed in awe, their eyes wide with disbelief. Some ventured forth with trepidation, their inquiries hanging in the air like whispers of uncertainty. After years of silence, Jack found himself engaging in conversation with neighbors he had merely coexisted with, their lives intertwined, yet largely unacknowledged. On the 2nd day, Mrs. Harper graced us with a delightful homemade apple pie. "Little did we know a hero had been residing just across the street all this time," she remarked, as she presented him with the still warm dessert. "I am no hero, ma'am," Jack fervently protested. "I simply fulfilled my duty much like these gentlemen beside me." Her gaze met his with an understanding that spoke volumes. "That is precisely what my herald would proclaim." He stood at Incheon. He never considered himself to be anything out of the ordinary. On the 3rd day, a lively assembly of neighborhood children had formed, their eager eyes fixed upon the Navy team as they diligently carried out their tasks. A young boy no older than 10 approached Jack, his eyes wide with wonder. "Mister, could it be that you are perhaps a clandestine operative or something of that nature?" Jack let out a hearty chuckle, the sound resonating with warmth and mirth. "Indeed, my boy, merely a seasoned truck driver who offered a lift to another soul. Yet they are transforming your entire abode." Jack paused, his mind swirling with thoughts, before gracefully lowering himself to meet the boy's gaze. "Ah, Billy, there are moments when you extend your hand to another offering aid without a whisper of expectation in return, and the universe in its whimsical dance finds a way to repay your kindness in the most unexpected of ways." The boy nodded with a gravity that suggested he was absorbing a profound lesson, one that would echo through the corridors of his young mind. As the sun dipped low in the sky that fateful afternoon, the esteemed leader of the work team, Commander Daniel, extended a gracious invitation to Jack, beckoning him to witness the fruits of their labor, the magnificent renovations now complete. As they traversed the familiar halls, Jack found himself struggling to identify the very essence of his own abode. The venerable furnace, which had wheezed and labored through innumerable winters, has now been supplanted by a sleek, efficient system that hums softly in the background. The roof, once a tapestry of countless patches, now stood resolute and unblemished. Even the electrical wiring, a source of concern that had haunted him for years, yet always felt too costly to replace, had been entirely transformed to meet modern standards. "It's overwhelming," Jack declared, his voice thick with emotion. Commander Daniel, with a solemn expression, shook his head in disbelief. "Admiral's orders, sir, and I must confide," he emphasized, "that this matter transcends mere official Navy business. It is deeply personal." He yearned to be present in person, yet a pressing matter in the South China Sea demands his immediate focus. On that fateful final day, as the team readied themselves to depart, the young officer who had initially sought him out stepped forward bearing a wooden plaque with great reverence. The craftsmanship was nothing short of exquisite, a testament to the artistry of skilled hands at work. Etched into its very essence were the words, "Veterans Shelter, honored by honor itself." The officer revealed with a flourish that Admiral Samuel had this commissioned with great care and intention. He implored that it be positioned in a place of prominence. Jack's fingers glided over the intricately carved letters, a wave of unexpected emotion constricting his throat. Convey to him the depths of my gratitude." Yet it proved to be utterly unnecessary. The officer beamed with a warm smile. He predicted you would utter those very words. His response echoed with a weighty conviction. Necessity has nothing to do with honor. Corporal Monroe. As the Navy vehicles rolled away, Mrs. Harper stepped boldly into the street, her curiosity surging forth, overpowering her usual restraint. "Jack Monroe," she declared, her hands firmly planted on her hips. "For 3 decades, as we shared the same space, you never once revealed the astonishing truth that you were acquainted with admirals." Jack let out a soft, melodious chuckle, a sound that danced through the air like a gentle breeze.
"I did not. It was only 3 weeks ago that the moment arrived." With a measured cadence, he recounted the fateful encounter amidst the swirling tempest of the blizzard.
As he spoke, a throng of neighbors converged, their ears attuned to his every word. For the very first time, countless souls were captivated by tales of his military service, the arduous years spent traversing the road, and the profound solitude that defined his existence. "Are you truly suggesting," Mr. Collins from 2 doors down interjected, "that you rescued a lost soul amidst the fury of a blizzard, completely unaware of his identity, only to discover he was an admiral?" Jack nonchalantly shrugged, a gesture that spoke volumes in its simplicity. It would have made no difference even if he had been a mere janitor. In a tempest such as that, one cannot dare to abandon anyone to the merciless elements. As the sun dipped below the horizon and shadows danced around him, Jack found himself alone on his freshly mended porch, a sanctuary of solitude in the twilight. The house exuded an unmistakable aura of change, not merely due to the repairs, but for the first time in years, it resonated less as a mere destination he revisited, and more as a sanctuary where he truly belonged. With meticulous care, he affixed the wooden plaque beside his front door, ensuring that the morning light would dance upon its elegant lettering. "Type justice if you hold steadfast to the belief that righteousness shall inevitably be recognized and rewarded in due course." From that fateful day onward, Jack continued to navigate his familiar routes, ensuring his cargo reached its destination with unwavering punctuality, all the while maintaining a steadfast solitude. Yet an unseen force had woven a new thread into the tapestry of his once tranquil life. It commenced with subtle yet profound gestures. A handwritten "T. Jack, you note," graced his mailbox, sent by a veteran who had been touched by the tale. Then yet another and yet another. On a fateful morning, he discovered a meticulously folded American flag resting upon his doorstep, accompanied by a humble card that proclaimed, "From one who serves to one who remembers what service truly signifies." In a twist of fate, the local VFW hall, a place Jack had never set foot in despite the countless invitations that had beckoned him over the years, now found its members unexpectedly calling out to him by name amidst the bustling aisles of the grocery store. The VFW commander made a personal visit, extending a heartfelt invitation to join their monthly gatherings. "It would be our utmost honor to have you by our side," the commander declared with a sense of gravity. Jack acquiesced with a subtle yet profound nod, a silent acknowledgement that spoke volumes. He shunned the spotlight, refusing to draw eyes to the events that had unfolded. When inquired, he would effortlessly declare, "Just lend a hand to someone in need." There is nothing remarkable about that. Yet the tale had woven itself into a vibrant tapestry, particularly among the seasoned storytellers. It transcended the Admiral's rank and the Navy's reaction. It was a resolute and unwavering choice to extend a hand even when others urged restraint or turned a blind eye. The tale unfurled and soared beyond the grasp of Jack's imagination. A reporter from the local paper reached out, eager to craft a feature story that would captivate the community. With a gracious demeanor, Jack chose to decline the offer. Representatives from the County Veterans Affairs Office approached him with a compelling request. Would he lend his voice to the halls of schools, sharing the profound themes of service and citizenship? Once more he turned it down. He confessed, "Public speaking is not my forte." The tale unfolds with a simplicity that needs no embellishment from my lips. Unbeknownst to Jack, a watchful Admiral Samuel observed from the shadows, his keen eyes fixed upon the unfolding scene. Through subtle avenues, he observed Jack's serene grace, his soft rejections of acknowledgement. In the waning days of February, the Admiral reached out to an old comrade within the hallowed halls of the Pentagon. As March unfolded, a formal letter made its way to Jack's doorstep, heralding a moment of significance. With hands weathered by time, he unveiled the document, his eyes tracing the words with deliberate care. In recognition of service above and beyond the call of duty, both in uniform and as a civilian, exemplifying the highest ideals of American citizenship. The letter summoned him to Washington for a grand ceremony, where he would be honored with a Civilian Service Medal. Jack lingered with the letter for days, engulfed in a tempest of uncertainty, grappling with the weight of his response. At long last, he summoned the courage to dial the number that had been given to him. With a graceful nod, he conveyed his gratitude to the aide who responded, yet he expressed a desire to avoid any unnecessary commotion. "I kindly ask that you extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Admiral on my behalf." 2 days later, the shrill ring of his phone shattered the silence. The voice resonating from the other end was undeniably familiar. "Corporal Monroe, I present to you Admiral Samuel," Sir Jack replied, instinctively straightening his posture, even though no eyes were upon him. "I see that you have chosen to decline our invitation to Washington."
"Indeed, sir, I seek not the applause of the crowd for my unwavering commitment to righteousness." A moment of silence hung in the air, followed by a gentle melodic laugh. Monroe, throughout my extensive years of service, I have adorned the chests of men who yearned for those medals, as well as those who believed they were unworthy of such honors. Yet you are the very first to compel me to reevaluate the entire notion of recognition itself." Jack stood in silence, a tempest of uncertainty swirling within him, grappling with the weight of his unspoken thoughts.
"Might I beseech you for a moment of concession?" The Admiral pressed on, his voice resonating with authority. "Absent are the halls of Washington, the glaring cameras and the orchestrated speeches. Merely a modest gathering at your nearby VFW, a moment steeped in significance. For the sake of clarity, not for mere spectacle." Something in the Admiral's tone, a profound respect, stirred Jack's very core. "I shall be able to handle that, sir." Spring burst forth, dissolving the icy chains of winter's relentless hold. At the VFW's annual recognition ceremony, Jack found himself ensnared in an uncomfortable embrace of a pressed shirt, cradling a solitary beer, desperately attempting to dissolve into the shadows of the gathering. As a distinguished figure entered, an electric hush enveloped the room, silencing all chatter and drawing every gaze toward the doorway. Admiral Samuel, resplendent in his full dress uniform, embellished with an array of ribbons and commendations, strode forth flanked by 2 aides. The Admiral swept his gaze across the room, his eyes locking onto Jack, before striding purposefully towards him. Those in proximity gracefully parted, offering a respectful passage. Jack began to stand, but the Admiral gestured for him to stay put, choosing instead to take the seat beside him. "Corporal Monroe," he declared with a heartfelt warmth, reaching out his hand in a gesture of camaraderie. "I have longed to express my gratitude to you in the most fitting manner." "There is no need for gratitude, my good sir. Your efforts with the repairs have surpassed all expectations." Admiral Samuel, with a solemn expression, shook his head in disbelief. On that fateful day, I found myself adrift, severed from signal and direction, yet you emerged like a beacon, drawing me back from the icy abyss. My utmost desire is for you to remain enveloped in warmth, always and forever. A subtle smile danced upon Jack's weathered visage. In a moment of compassion, I paused my journey to lend a hand to someone in need. Perhaps it's merely the instinct of a seasoned warrior. The Admiral regarded him with a penetrating gaze, deep in contemplation. That fateful night you revealed to me that you were merely a master of logistics. Justice is a fleeting concept in any service corporal. The individuals who orchestrate the movement of supplies, guaranteeing that every item reaches its destined location with precision and purpose. They are the very essence that supports and sustains everything. Devoid of logistics, even the grandest battleship stands as nothing more than a mere metal island its sailors left to grapple with their gnawing hunger. Jack let out a soft melodic chuckle, the sound lingering in the air like a gentle breeze. You see, the Admiral continued, word has it that you have shunned any acknowledgement for your remarkable deeds. I seek no accolades for simply adhering to what is just sir. Admiral Samuel inclined his head, a glimmer of comprehension illuminating his gaze. The finest among us seldom engage in such trivialities. In a poignant ceremony graced solely by the presence of local veterans, Admiral Samuel bestowed upon Jack a medal, a symbol of honor and valor. Not a single mention in the annals of official military records, yet a unique commendation was crafted specifically for this momentous occasion. The inscription bore a profound simplicity for reminding us what matters most. As the chatter swirled around them once more, the two men remained ensconced in a serene silence, a world of their own, divided by rank, yet bound by a force far deeper than the mere structure of military hierarchy, a profound realization that beyond the confines of uniforms and titles, the paramount obligation was above all to each other. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow, Jack navigated the winding roads, the streetlights shimmering like stars upon the surface of his truck's windshield. The road ahead unfurled, shrouded in darkness and void, yet this time an unexpected warmth enveloped me, banishing the solitude that once lingered. At times, the most profound treasures arise not from what we gain, but from the unwavering assurance that when destiny beckoned, we rose to the occasion. Have you ever extended a hand to a stranger, unaware of their identity, only to later unveil that this very individual had once uplifted an entire nation? Recall a moment when you beheld the exquisite beauty of kindness, returning to its source, a harmonious dance of goodwill and gratitude unfolding before your eyes. Join great man, where every action, no matter how minute, echoes through time and is forever etched in memory.